Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom. Thank you for tuning in to Chiefs Latest. This is your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs, usually in 15 minutes or less. Happy Wednesday. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have been anxious all week. If we could just fast forward to Sunday night, make sure the Chiefs don't go 0-3, that would be fantastic. Because if you go 0-3, your playoff chances are basically out the window. Now, I don't think they will lose, and the good thing is they should have, or possibly have, some help on Sunday. But will it be enough? We're going to dive into those two questions here in today's episode. But before we do, you know the drill. I don't have to repeat it, but I'm going to. Does not matter what platform you are on. It could be YouTube, it could be Spotify, it could even be Apple Podcasts. I really don't care. Here's what I need you to do, though. Take 5 seconds, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on notifications because we have daily, that's right, daily videos here at Cheifs Latest, Monday through Friday. You're not going to want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions regarding this team. So please, I can't stress it enough. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications, as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the information I'm about to relay to you probably seems unimportant, but I need you to stick with me. And it probably seems unimportant because of the current state of the team and the current state of the wide receiver room. But the Chiefs released wide receiver Hal Presley from the practice squad. I get it. You're probably like, okay, cool. Can we move on to the next topic? But this signals some big things for our offense, more specifically with Xavier Worthy and Jalen Royals nearing their returns. By dropping Presley, the Baylor product, if you remember, we talked about him in a few episodes so far, tells me that Veach is confident that Worthy is ready for a comeback sooner than later. And there's been some rumors that he could be as ready as Sunday against the Giants. Now, that makes me uneasy, and it probably should make you uneasy, but I like to think, too, that Royals is probably not too far behind. But going back to that idea that Worthy might play Sunday, it should make us all feel uneasy. But let's look at this a little closer. His fully torn labrum, they're calling it a slap tear that he suffered from the Chargers game. It's really no small issue. It's going to bring pain, it's going to bring instability, and what it's really going to bring, and what really scares me, is a real risk of re-injury. Highly likely he's going to re-injure it. I'd be tempted to sit him against the Giants. This should be a game you win, and I get it. Sitting him for just maybe one more week might not do much, but at least you're not rushing him back for this week. But if practice, and I'm pulling, an AI here, practice, talking about practice, we are, because if that has any indication of where he's at, he did have a one-handed over-the-head catch. So that shows he has the guts, he has the ability to play through it, but of course he will be wearing a shoulder harness. But again, practice indicates that that shouldn't be a problem for him. And not only that, there's been guys in the NFL, George Kittle, Odell Beckham Jr., that have thrived with similar injuries. So it's very possible that he can still be a factor even with this torn labrum. But it's going to nag Worthy all season. It's not something that's going to just be fixed in a week, fixed in 2 weeks. But you do need him. You do need his speed. You need him to stretch defenses. But they have to be smart. The Chiefs have to be smart, especially since their number 2 is now the number 1. Yes, he'll go back to the number 2 when Rice comes back, but right now he is the number 1 option. I mentioned those two names earlier. Kittle played with a torn labrum from 2018 to 2019. He earned Pro Bowl honors both seasons and first-team All-Pro in 2019. Beckham Jr., he played with a torn labrum, he said, for a decade. He had it in college. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. So Reed's going to have to be smart. He's going to have to limit the exposure to big hits on Worthy to protect the shoulder, because that re-injury is very likely, especially if you're going to have him come back this quickly. He may have to be on some sort of snap count if possible. But Royals, his potential return, that would be huge. It would add another weapon. It's going to reduce the pressure on Worthy, and it's going to allow Veach to prioritize other roster moves over receiver depth. So Chiefs just need to be smart. Just monitor the practice reps closely. And if he's limited, whether that's he can play in limited or he's just not going to play at all, then Thornton once again is going to have to step up and be that deep threat option against the Giant for Mahomes. So in my eyes, a Worthy return against the Giants, it's a massive gamble, one I'd probably stay away from. but cutting Presley does signal some confidence in him and Royals' return. And with Kittle and Beckham Jr. both setting a precedent in the NFL, the Chiefs need to play it smart to keep their speedster healthy, because I'd rather have him for a playoff push than have him re-injured, against the Jags in a couple weeks. But speaking of that, of course, in true Chiefs latest fashion, what would we do to, replace that? Because as it sounded, I'm not so confident that this injury isn't going to be nagging worthy all season. So the Chiefs might have to make a trade at the wide receiver position to combat this. And there is a name out there. It's Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs. His name has been floating around as a potential trade target. With Worthy's labrum, Rice sidelined for 4 more games, and tough matchups against the Ravens and Lions in the next few weeks, having Dobb and that reliability, that could be a game changer and very quickly. He's only 25. He's in the final year of his rookie deal. And the Packers, they have a crowded wide receiver room. It's loaded. Golden, Watson, Reed, Wicks, Williams, Heath, and he throw in the tight end, Tucker Kraft. So that kind of makes him an odd man out, especially after they passed on his 5th-year option. They suspended him last year for missing practice, so he's had moments with the coaching staff, with the GM. I think out of all the wide receivers in there, they would likely trade him if they were going to go that route. He isn't a, make-you-miss wide receiver, but he has really clean hands. He's really good in contested situations, especially on deep outs, boundary shots. It makes him a serviceable wide receiver, especially when you get Rice back. He could thrive with Mahomes. That would be a nice little, Dobbs, Worthy, Rice. That's a nice little 3-headed monster right there. Beach should be dialing Green Bay's number right now. Dobbs also has that reliability in the end zone and an affordable contract. That's going to stabilize this offense until Rice returns, and I believe beyond. If you look at his career, 45 games, 152 receptions, 1,796 yards, and 16 touchdowns. So far in 2 games this season, 5 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. That final contract year for him, $3.4 million base salary, no 5th-year option picked up. The Chiefs can work with that. His ability to win on contested catches, his ability to win in the red zone, adds a threat that this room needs. It gives Mahomes a reliable target. We just have to be able to block and run the ball better so it opens up the passing game. But again, Dobbs would be a nice fit. Would likely need to service out probably a 4th or 5th round pick, probably 4th to seal the deal, but we'll see. If this were to come true, Beach needs to act fast. Like I mentioned, you have those tough games ahead. If you want to get the most utilized out of this trade, and with very little room for error here on out because you're 0-2, can't really suffer more losses, you want to make that move sooner than later. All right, I know. I probably sound like a broken record talking about our backfield, but it's truly a head scratcher. It truly keeps me up at night. And after I read your guys' comments once again, I have to come back to the topic, because you guys are bringing up some names like Elijah Mitchell and Brashard Smith. The Chiefs running back room, as I've been pointing out in episodes, probably the past 5, it's a mess. Their half-hearted attempts to fix it are even more baffling. Elijah Mitchell was supposed to be a, Jerick McKinnon type find, a 3rd down spark, but his 130 carries over the last 3 years, missing all of 2024. What were we doing? Did we really have that much faith in him? He didn't shine in the preseason either this year, yet he's still hogging a roster spot. And then you bring up Brashard Smith, a 7th round upside play. He got, I think, 1 touch in week 2, if that, which tells you everything about the trust that Reed and Nagy have in him. Probably not much, or he's really not ready for the stage yet. So he's not saving this offense anytime soon, so don't even get that in your mind. So why keep Mitchell, who's done nothing to earn his spot, while cutting a developmental prospect like offensive tackle Esapole? Why? That doesn't make sense to me. Why would you do that? Especially when we've been complaining about the blocking, when part of the run game being bad is because we don't have the best run blocking O-line. But you get rid of that. So it's just a head-scratching move for me. You want something dynamic in the backfield. You need better O-line play, but yet you get rid of the developmental O-lineman and bring in a running back that is busted. This roster mismanagement is killing any chance of a balanced offense this season. Beach needs to answer for why we're wasting spots on non-factors like Elijah Mitchell. In his career, 130 carries, 43 per year average. I know I said that earlier, but I don't know if you guys caught that or if it registered how crazy that is. 130 carries in his career. That's only 43 per year average. Reed needs to either work Brashard Smith, that is, in specific packages to test his upside, or just admit that he's not ready and that we need to prioritize a trade for a proven back to spark the run game. I'm tired of waiting. We don't have time to wait. Mitchell's roster spot, it should be open for that trade spot, especially if he's continuing to not contribute, especially by now. We're entering week 3. Beach is probably going to have to take a loss on this one. He's going to have to reassess his offseason strategy. You passed on plenty of talent in the draft. Then you go and cut a developmental lineman, all for an underperforming veteran? Does this make sense to you guys? It's a gamble that's not going to pay off, and he just has to admit that. So, again, in true Cheifs Latest fashion, what is the answer? What is the fix? What can the Chiefs do? But one of the trade names that is out there right now as a potential trade name, that is, of course, is New York Jets running back Breece Hall. He could be an ideal target for Kansas City, and I'm all about it. The Chiefs have only 219 rushing yards through 2 games, and Mahomes accounts for over half of that, 123 of them. Let's just put it that way. While Pacheco's 47 yards, I don't know if that was exactly half, but basically half. While Pacheco has 47 yards, that's right, just 47 yards on 15 carries. Not exciting. I'm telling you what, it's a far cry from what we need to balance this offense. It's a far cry from what you need from your running back number 1. Hall, at 24, he's in the final year of his rookie deal. And he was in some rumors during the summer that he could be a trade target. Obviously, that didn't pan out, but that might suggest that the Jets are still willing to shop him by the trade deadline, especially after he's been inconsistent his entire career in New York. His speeded vision, I mean, he has a 100-yard game already this season, far cry from what any of our running backs would do. It's going to give Mahomes a weapon out of the backfield. It's going to force defenses to rethink their too high safety looks. Beach needs to be on the phone, if not with Green Bay, then with the Jets, because Hall's big play ability, yeah, inconsistent sometimes, but that ability to have that big play could be the spark that this offense desperately needs. We got to turn around this 0-2 start. Here's where he's been inconsistent. 2023, 994 yards, 5 touchdowns, 223 carries. Last season, 876 yards, 209 carries, 1 game only over 100 yards. This season, though, he already has 1 game over 100 rushing yards in the first 2 weeks. So he'd immediately become the lead back. He'd push Pacheco to a change of pace role. He'd reduce reliance on a short yardage back in Kareem Hunt, and it's going to give more time for Smith to develop. Breece Hall could be the one to fix the Chiefs' anemic run game. The youth, the speed, the affordable contract, the big playability, I think this makes him a perfect trade target. Well, that is all that I have for you on this lovely Wednesday middle of the week episode. Let me know in the comments what you think about adding Romeo Doubs or Breece Hall. Would you like either one, or which one do you feel like we need more? I am your host, Calvin Silvers. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And until next time, have a good one.